Welcome to CyHawkThoughts. I'm Steve Myers. This is Chuck Utek, and we're going to be previewing the Iowa State and Iowa season. We're going to be presented on caffeinatedthoughts.com. And Chuck, you ready for some football?
Who's ready for football? This guy is.
Yeah, so am I. And I cannot wait to get up to the Iowa State UNI Panthers football game today. Should be a good one over at Jack Trice Stadium. Iowa has Tennessee Tech, and we'll be talking a little more about those teams here in a bit. What we're going to be doing is we are going to be previewing each and every game every week through the CyHawkThoughts series. We're also going to be doing a little NFL. We're going to be doing some fantasy and a lot more college. So with that said, let's get started. Chuck, give me a little thoughts about the Hawkeyes.
Iowa Hawkeyes 2011. Here's my thoughts on Iowa. I still can't get out of my mind Micah Hyde running back a touchdown against Missouri. 6 points, pick six. How cool was that? Well, I thought it was pretty cool. You don't like Missouri too much, do you?
Not really.
Yeah, so even an Iowa State fan like you had to take a little happiness out of that.
We did, and hopefully we can do it again this year down in Columbia.
Absolutely. I think that's why not? I think that's a win that you have on your schedule for Iowa State.
I do. You can find that at CyThoughts, the Iowa State football preview. You also have one from the Iowa side, HawkThoughts, and Chuck Utek's preview as well, which I believe BCS maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I am a homer. I tend to follow the Iowa Hawkeyes. I'm gonna take my chances this year and say, last year I thought it might be a 6-6 year. Who knows? This year maybe 10-2.
Well, 10-2 would be one that not very many people are expecting. I likewise have Iowa State at 7-5. Probably not what too many people are expecting, but both realistic though. Optimistic but realistic.
Absolutely. Hey, bowl games for both of us. I don't think Vegas has the over/under on Iowa and Iowa State combined victories, where we have it at 17.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry, I do not agree with the 3 that we currently have. I just don't. Look, our schedule is tough. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But you and I think they're a great team. But the talent level, I mean, it's a different talent level. Iowa had a trap game against them a couple years ago, and you and I showed what they're capable of. But
about got trapped.
This is true. So I mean, if you think about it, it's a tough schedule. But if we can get past, if we can come out of the first 3 2-1, I had 3-0. I believe we can just beat UNI and UConn. The Iowa game, it's a rivalry game. Anything can happen.
50-50.
Yeah,
flip a coin.
We saw what happened in 2005. You guys came in 8th?
I believe so.
Jack Trice Stadium ended up being 23-3. Then you can come in and neither team are ranked, and you play at Kinnick last year, and we get demolished. So you
never know.
Yeah, you never know. So with that said, you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about Tennessee Tech.
Tennessee Tech. I call them Northwestern Light. They're not in the Big Ten. They're in the Ohio Valley. They may not have Dan Persa, but they got some talent. They run a spread offense. Iowa fans are very familiar, unfortunately, with spread offenses. And they're going to present some challenges. They like being really quick, getting to the ball. Some people call it a no-huddle. It's kind of a controlled no-huddle. Kind of watch and see what the defense does. Norm and the boys have a lot of preparation to do. But this is a good game for Iowa early, just like Ohio State last year playing Navy. Kind of get something out of the way, work out the kinks. They're going to have to play these type of offenses later on in the year. And hopefully we can get out of there without any injuries. I'm looking forward to seeing A.J. Derby, Mikhail McCall, a couple of the other freshmen get out there. Let's see what everyone's got. Let's get this football started.
Yeah. So they like to call themselves the fastest 60. So it is going to be a run and gun offense. Your defense is going to have to be prepared. I mean, yes, again, a different talent level, but you can catch talent off guard.
Absolutely. Micah Hyde switching to safety this year should be interesting from his cornerback spot. I thought he was going to be bookends with Prater, but they're going to move him around. Maybe we'll see if Jordan Bernstein can finally live up to the hype in the secondary, but they definitely are going to be tested. Young linebacking crew is going to be tested this week, and should be interesting to see what Norm has in store for us.
All right. Well, that's some good thoughts on the actual game. If we can go in a little more detail, what are your thoughts on how Vandenberg's season is going to pull?
I like it. I like Vandy a lot. Got to see him a couple years ago. We all saw him, unfortunately, against Northwestern, and then him pull it out and really put up a good show. Could have been a winning effort against Ohio State. It wasn't, but he showed well. Showed well against Minnesota the following week. I think he's going to be okay. He's a little different character than Ricky Stanzi, but he's got a little moxie to him, and I think the team's going to rally behind it.
Well, I think that Ohio State game really put him on the message boards last year, because when he took off in that game, and everyone knew who Vandenberg was at that point in time, and they felt like they had a pretty good backup at that point, and then starting quarterback for the next year.
Absolutely.
So.
And he's not going to want to relinquish his position, which, who would, but he's got a couple guys, Josh Wenke, he's got A.J. Derby behind him. They're pushing for time. They look pretty good so far in practices, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, I'm not worried about your guys' offensive line at all. That's always been a pretty big mainstay for Kirk Ferentz's teams. One thing that I believe may be a weakness this year, you can correct me if I'm more wrong, but the maybe lack of depth at running back that you guys may have yourselves in right now?
Yeah, what had been a strength last year, and about every other year seems to be a little concern. Who's going to step up? This year's one of those who's going to step up years. We got Marcus Coker. He showed wonderful against Missouri. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. There's some depth behind him that is unproven. I guess you can call it depth, but it's guys that are freshmen that are going to have to step up. Hopefully they will, but that's why you have these games up front to know what you have for your team for the season.
Well, that's a good point. You do have some depth, but unproven depth at that. My thoughts on Coker, the guy's a beast. There's just no ifs, ands, buts about it. The guy's a beast. And if he can get through the line, he's going to either run you over or make you miss, as we saw. And he's got some speed, which is going to help him, get past the secondary if he can. A little worried about your loss at defensive end. If there's a guy that many people remember, I think it was Claiborne.
Yeah, I think his name was Adrian. Defensive line, you lose Klug, you lose Ballard, you lose Claiborne. We got some names coming in, Binns, Daniels. I think the line is going to be okay. They're going to be pluggers. And up front, again, that's what we need. A lot's going to be put on the linebackers. James Moore, sophomore, he's calling the shots. We'll see what happens, but I think he's ready. And if Nielsen can stay healthy, I think we're going to be okay.
Good. Well, that should be a really fun game to watch. If you're Iowa fans, you're going to see the defense go up against a pretty talented offensive, because they got so many guys back. We can talk about talent level all day long. Matter of the fact is, they're seasoned. They've got some veterans on that team, and they're going to make the defense work.
Absolutely.
But still, my thoughts are on the Hawks. Final score prediction.
I'm going to go 41-10 Iowa. Get out, work out those kinks, and get out of there with a victory. Hopefully, no one gets hurt, and move on to next week. I think they have a pretty big game next week. I think it's from an in-state team.
Yeah,
I think they're playing.
Can't remember.
No.
Maybe we'll get to that later on as soon as we check it out. So
yeah, 2 in-state games in a row, I think, for Iowa State.
Yeah, this is true, and great for the state. Great for all the fans. Whether you're an Iowa, Iowa State fan, doesn't matter. These games all mean something, regardless of what anyone says.
Absolutely.
Because you have those that say it doesn't matter, but it does. It does every year. Speaking of UNI, we've got a big game coming up tonight, 6 o'clock kickoff, Jack Trice Stadium. Do you have any thoughts on that one at this time?
I'm interested just to see, what was the score last year, 27-0 Iowa State?
Yep.
I'd like to see, I don't know how this works with UNI, if they feel it's a revenge game, if it's a, hey, we're really good at what we do game. Iowa State, I think, is much improved even from last year, and they really started, Nebraska game and showing themselves. So I think this should be really fun to watch.
Yeah, it should. And my thoughts are, I've heard a lot of, well, UNI is so much more improved. It was a close game going into the fourth quarter last year. It was some hiccups on the UNI side, some turnovers. To be honest with you, if they made a leap with this season in terms of how good they're going to be, I feel like Iowa State's made that equal leap. That's just my opinion. So if we're going to put equal leaps there together, I think we should have showing quite a bit like last year. So it's really what I think. So,
well, tell me a little bit about Iowa State's game plan today. Are they going to just start running the ball? Are they going to, you think, open it up a little bit against UNI? What do you think Paul Rhodes has got in store for the Panthers?
Well, I believe we're going to try to run the ball. I think that's first and foremost. It's Steele Jantz's first game. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. Obviously, if it's closer, we're going to end up having to throw the ball a little bit more. But I think we're going to want to start to, show them what kind of a dominant offensive line we have. We want to wear out their defensive line. I think our offensive line is going to be pretty good. A little worried about center, but I believe in this kid, Farnock. I think he's going to be, you're playing a true freshman at center in Division I, Big 12 football. The kid's got to be good. So, I'm a little worried there, but I think it's a good game to have his first start in. But I think we want to show our dominance on the offensive line. We're bigger than they are on their defensive line. We need to protect Jantz, but I think we really need to get Jeff Woody, Chantrell Johnson, and if we have the pleasure of seeing James White or Durant Hollis, which I really hope we do because I think they're phenomenal running backs as well. I think that's how we're going to want to win this game.
All right. Tell me a little bit more about Steele Jantz. And I just kind of hear some blurbs that he's coming in from JC, and a lot of buzz going on though. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, as in my preview, I said potential second coming of Seneca Wallace. I think that
high praise.
Yes, and a lot to live up to. Steele, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, but if you are, don't read too much into it. I think he's going to be a run second quarterback, where Seneca was kind of a run first if he thought he could. I think Steele's not going to be that guy where it's like, hey, I have an opening. He's going to look for the pass even if he has an opening. Can he run? Yeah, he can run. He can run. But I just don't think that it's going to be the same type of impact that Seneca gave us. I still believe with the talent he has around him that he does have the ability to win as many games as Seneca did while Seneca had his 2 years here. So, I think he's going to be just fine. A lot of rumors flying out there. Tiller, academic ineligibility. Did he actually beat Jerome Tiller out? I have no reason to think that was not the case. We have never doubted Paul Rhodes. He comes out and says exactly what's on his mind. If he says that Tiller was beat out prior to academic ineligibility, I say he was beat out due to academic ineligibility. And interesting stat here, and I'm not going to have the absolute correct stats on this, but it wasn't about a few weeks ago where they had a scenario online, quarterback A, quarterback B, and they had the stats. Quarterback B was actually better than quarterback A on the stats, but the stats were similar in terms of games started, games played. Quarterback B had about 200 more rushing yards, had about a 2% completion percentage better, and had more passing yards, less TD or less interceptions, and I think one more TD. Quarterback A, Vanderburg. Quarterback B, Jerome Tiller. Vanderburg was hyped. People are excited about him. I know you're excited about him. Heck, I'm excited about the kid. But to know that Jerome Tiller was actually ahead of him in stats in very similar situations and got beat out by Steele Jantz, maybe that's why Steele Jantz is going to have a good year.